Well, the small town of Saum celebrated a huge milestone this past weekend, the 100th anniversary of the first rural school to be consolidated into a school district in Minnesota. For this week's Community Spotlight, Jamil Donath explains how Saum school students and staff came back to class one more time.
I recognize some of the work, some of the students that I had.
As Saum school students and staff step inside their old schoolhouse, it's as if they never left.
Well, I didn't think I was so bad.
Former classmates, teachers, and their families came from near and far to celebrate the centennial of the Saum school, which was the first rural school to be consolidated into a school district in Minnesota.
We do have sort of a reunion here because there's quite a few that have come back.
And after 100 years, the Saum school is not only intact, it looks as good as new.
It seems a little unbelievable at first.
Leona Nyberg was one of the last teachers at Saum school before it closed in the 60s. And today she is sitting in the very desk in the same classroom she taught in.
I would say this room is exactly the way it was when we had the last day of school.
Everything from the textbooks to the maps, the desks, and even the pictures on the wall are all originals.
And when I was in this room, he was a teacher.
Almost all of Eva Stengel's family went to the Saum school, and her grandfather helped build the school.
I'm sure my parents and my grandparents would have been very, very happy to know that this was being celebrated.
One of the big mysteries of the Saum school was the upstairs, which was closed off to students and staff for most of the time the school was open. But now that it's been cleaned up and refurbished, many students and staff are seeing the upstairs for the first time today.
It's just 100% different. It's good.
For a portion of the 1920s, one room upstairs was used to teach a high school class.
There was a high school there for about 7 years, I think, between 1923 and 1930.
And this small closet space was used as the principal's office and as the living quarters for the janitor and his wife.
He was the janitor and she was the cook.
Right here is Charlotte Ursett.
Arna Mosted Jensen had several relatives who went to the Saum school, and in the past few years he wrote a book and shot a documentary on the school's history.
There are a million stories out here, and it's just this tiny little school.
So for the entire Saum community, residents aren't just celebrating a school's 100th anniversary, but 100 years of memories still standing. For this week's Community Spotlight, Jamil Donath, Lakeland News.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.